Hey, good evening, everybody. It is that time of year again for our annual Saturnalia stream, probably the longest tradition that we've had ongoing on this channel. I think we started back in 2020 on the Saturnalia proper 2020, aka the Roman festival of Saturn, classic winter solstice holiday. Today it is the 22nd of December, the year of our Lord 2023, 2 days before Christmas Eve. So yes, like always on these Saturnalia streams, we will talk about a number of stories, Christmas-related stories pertaining to this time of year, as well as various other fun things like various traditions that we admire, like, or have adhered to in the past. Little tidbits of Christmas lore. Usually, it's a bit of a stream of consciousness in a lot of ways, and that's what's so fun about this stream. But yes, so I think this year we only have one returning guest, and that is, of course, my regular co-host, Darth Kilhoun. How are you doing this evening, Darth Kilhoun?
Oh, doing great. Making I should be preparing my soul for the coming of Christ and the true Messiah, despite what others may say. But I pray that everyone is having a good Christmas season, a good Advent. And I pray for the Armenians and other Christians in that part of the world that are suffering as of right now.
All right, thank you. And somebody else, she's never been on one of these streams before, but we have my friend Maria. How are you doing this evening? Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself? Just to say, she has been on for an interview before, talking about her wonderful new documentary that she's been working on. But we'll let her talk a little bit about herself now.
Hi, I'm Maria, or Beneath the Iceberg is my channel name and the name of my documentary. Sometimes I call myself B-Tib just for the lulz. And I'm currently making a documentary about a series of interconnected cases of online child trafficking. Mainly the case that's the main focus of it is the Peter Scully case, and so I'm kind of doing a documentary on that and all the other cases that connect to it.
All right, please, everybody, go take a look at her channel. I will put it in the show notes after the fact. Definitely worth a watch, definitely worth a subscribe. And now my friend, American Elitist, who unfortunately I have not seen in a week, and I probably won't see for several months. How are you doing, American Elitist?
I'm doing great. I just got off work actually, so I'm pretty happy about that. Um, I got a brand new car recently. Probably not one of the wisest decisions I made, but pretty great car. So it's been pretty good Christmas so far, despite
Nice,
shit,
nice.
some shit behind the scenes.
And last and absolutely most certainly least, David Wayne. How are you doing this evening, David Wayne?
Doing well. Just got a nice patches in underneath my lip and enjoying the whole Christmas weekend.
Nice. Well, it's great to have all you guys on today. And I thought we'd start out doing something a little nice. Let's talk about what is everyone's favorite, or no, actually, here's a good one. What is everyone's favorite tradition that they had growing up around the holidays? It could be anything that you have a fleeting memory of, or you just haven't done in a while. I figure that's like a nice little icebreaker. We'll go in a circle. We'll start with. I'm going to say something that I said on Yiz's stream the other night. Does everyone remember the little people? They were like these little Fisher Price toys.
Yes, I used to make up so many storylines with those. Wasn't there a TV show about them too?
Yeah, it's like yeah. I think there was. Does anyone else remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we used to have like a nativity scene, and this is when we were really little. And then there was like a Joseph, a Mary, and a donkey, and so like every day of Advent, we used to move them to a different place around the house, up until they would get to the manger, or the stable on Christmas Eve. And then what we do is we had wise men, and then starting on the 26th, we would move the wise men one place every day until they got to the manger on the 6th. And that was something I just remembered for the first time the other day. because I hadn't thought of that in years. But I don't know. It was always very cute, and I don't know. I kind of miss it. What about you, Kilhoon? Oh, and by the way, if anyone in the comments has any Christmas traditions or whatever that they'd like to share, feel free to comment. Be sure to share them as well.
I mean, frankly, my father's generation didn't really maintain a lot of the family traditions I always hear from my grandfather's generation that they did. But I guess going to midnight mass was always our default for a basic Christmas tradition since my father abandoned and his generation abandoned the other traditions. So that was something I always cherished. And like more retrospectively cherished. At the time I was like, why are we going to mass so late as like a little kid? But I value that now as an adult. And I guess a tradition that I more started for myself in the last 5 years was always watching the 1984 Christmas Carol, because it's more of its more melancholic and darker tones that particular depiction had for the Christmas Carol that I connected with.
We'll get into that because I know we usually end by talking about our favorite and least favorite Christmas movies and our favorite and least favorite Christmas songs. We do the same thing every year, I know. So we can get around to talking more about the Christmas Carol then.
I have one that none of us can really practice anymore. Who grew up watching ABC Family Christmas movies?
We did, but this is not this. But we'll. Oh, is this
yours?
That
was a tradition that we would do. Yeah, like
okay. Was it 25 Days of Christmas? I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called at the time. I have such fond memories of going to my family's Christmas parties, and that was one of the time killers that you could do when the party lulled and whatnot. You'd sit down and you rewatch the Santa Claus series and whatnot, and now it's been ABC Family's no more. It's now called Flow.
I only started watching cheesy Christmas movies about 2 years ago, I'd say. Usually I just, kind of watch whatever's on, but I never really specifically watched them until I think last year. And I don't even remember what the one I watched was called.
So Wayne, what about is that Wayne, is that yours, like your tradition?
Yeah, that's a tradition that we no longer practice anymore because it doesn't exist anymore. Otherwise, my family traditions have actually held up pretty well.
Okay. What about you, Maria?
I'd say my favorite, well, because my family is, my mom's side of the family is Polish. We usually celebrate Christmas 3 times. We have Mikołajki, which is basically like where my mom always told us little elves come and just leave our stocking stuffers for us, but the stocking stuffers go in our shoes, so we have to clean our shoes the night before. And I'm realizing how little sense this makes to people who are not Polish. So we get the little gifts then. And then before we go up to visit family, the day before, we always have a Polish Christmas Eve celebration where we eat a traditional Polish Christmas Eve dinner, and have and give each other just like give each other small gifts. Like it's funny, this year we did it, and I gave my mom, and my dad and I went shopping for my mom. We got her a bunch of skincare products and a sweater. And my dad and I were like, well, she'll love this sweater. This looks like exactly something she'd want. And then when my mom opened it, she said, I love this sweater. I love it so much. And you'll see why, and you'll see how much I love it later.
Yeah, I think I see where this is going. Yeah.
Me the exact same sweater. And so we both wore that sweater today. We were twinning.
That kind of reminds me, the sort of like different cultural distinctions in kind of celebrating Christmas. I don't know. So I know Kilhoon. So your family's also German. Did you guys have the Christkind
Well, that was like in my grandfather's generation. They still practice that, but then, uh, like I was kind of lamenting that my father's generation just did not carry on that tradition because
So
they kind of became deracinated.
So yeah, for those who don't know, so and this goes back. So in like Bavarians, traditionally on Christmas Eve, there's the Christkind or the Christ Child, which brings you a gift, leaves it under the tree, or on your bed, depending on like we always used to have these little Christmas trees in our room, so it was always under the little Christmas tree.
Mhm.
And so it was every night before or like after dinner and then before mass. It was the kids would go, or was it after? I forget the order. It
It,
probably depended, but like
it
for
was
us,
always after you would go do that after mass.
yeah. So it was
Um,
for us whenever we would get back from church, we'd find this present on our bed, and so it was like a present that we'd get to open on Christmas Eve, but it was delivered by the spirit of the baby Jesus. And again, I don't know how that works. Like I don't know how's the spirit of the baby Jesus like different from I don't know. But
well, time matters not to God. So,
yeah, but
Have you
so
um,
guys ever
but
seen like those pictures of the nativity scenes and like there's someone's cat there?
I have not.
or they put Yoda in there or something. Yeah,
No, but like
but
it's like it look
yeah,
it's like the nativity scene but being like disrupted by a cat. Like not
hmm
the cat as baby Jesus, it's just like the cat just like being basically
there.
Godzilla.
I have not
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah. I've seen stuff like that. But also, another tradition was like Saint Nicholas wouldn't come on Christmas Eve. That's more of a kind of an anglicization of
Yep.
the
No,
German
December
tradition.
6th, Saint
Yeah,
Nicholas's Day.
it
Yeah.
was on Saint Nicholas's feast day. Yeah, he would come and he would fill your stockings with goodies, or if you were bad, then you were taken away by Krampus.
No, no. So that if no, so
But that was on
Krampus would
Christmas Eve.
take
Would
no, no.
Krampus come?
Yeah, and then but then sometimes, so if you were bad but not bad enough to go with Krampus, the parents would leave a switch, or the Santa would leave a
Saint
switch for the
Nicholas.
parents
Yeah,
to beat
yeah.
the
Saint
kids.
Nicholas would leave a switch
Yeah.
because remember, Saint Nicholas wasn't beyond basic discipline like he did to Arius.
Oh, and we'll get there. We'll get to there soon.
Yes.
So,
I
all
remember
right.
when I was
So,
like 5, my aunt got a hold of a she was in her teens or early 20s at the time, but she got a hold of a David Sedaris book. And she was reading it out to the family. And I remember this one passage that went something like, so what I heard was if you were naughty, then Santa Claus would either give you coal, put you in a sack and ship you away to Spain, or just pretend to kick you. And that's for some reason stuck with me ever since.
but we haven't gotten to elitist yet. Elitist. What would your answer to this question be? Just Christmas tradition that you remember fondly from your childhood that your family like that just kind of like disappeared or that has not been observed in a while.
So I grew up in a generation where basically all
Your
of the
your
older.
your, your volume's very low, by the way. Your volume's pretty low.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's still very
Yeah,
still.
tad bit better.
Hang on, let me try to fix my audio real quick.
Yes, technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a stream if there wasn't technical difficulties.
It would not be a stream with the politicrat without technical difficulties or dead air occasionally. The occasional dead
Okay,
air.
does it sound better now? Does it sound
Yes,
better?
much.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So I grew up in a generation where all the traditions of the older generations basically started to die out, and they just stopped starting to teach this to us. But one kind of tradition my family kind of stuck around was basically you would on Christmas Eve or the day before, a night before, you put out cookies for Santa Claus, and we would always wait until the morning. They would always be gone, and obviously as like the reality that Santa wasn't real kind of dawned on me. We kind of stopped doing that. Although I carried that tradition on for a while, except probably would be a little bit more healthier for the parents to eat it. I don't know. That was a tradition my family carried on, since like all of the others kind of waned. I really didn't get to experience much of them, besides the big Christmas dinners and kind of the parties and obviously watching movies and opening presents. But that was a tradition my family would always do, was bake cookies and put them out.
Nice. Actually, I still sometimes so we always make cookies anyway, and so even like long after people stopped believing in Santa, I would still like eat the cookies and like leave the crumbs and leave half-eaten cookies and stuff like on the plate, like where we used to leave it for Santa. And in more recent years, I've just like had a glass of eggnog before bed and just left the glass of eggnog right there because
Nice.
Santa needs to get a little turnt too.
Yes.
It's a long
Is-
night.
Should
Son,
there be? Should
son-
drinking and sledding be regulated?
Nah, I mean, he's
If you're Santa Claus,
son-
like magic sledding.
Son,
do you need a license to drive that sleigh, old man? Do you have that
Son-
license?
son, I can assure you that Santa wants Maker's Mark.
I think we did actually do. I did do Maker's Mark like 2 years ago.
Sorry, that whole like regulating Santa driving his sleigh, that just sounds like the most Anglo thing I've ever heard.
And that's the most English thing you ever heard.
I would have just said that Anglo.
No, Anglo is an entirely different spirit.
No.
Hello, Christmas Crusader. How are you doing? Yeah, we got our first. And for those watching, we will talk. I was gonna say, like, we should.
We got Billy Bob too.
Who Billy Bob? Billy Bob. I don't think I'm really for joining a garage church. I don't know. I like the aesthetic of like an actual church.
Oh, did your guys' parents ever like download the app where it tracked where Santa was heading?
NORAD
Yes.
Santa
Oh,
Tracker.
shit.
Yes.
Yeah. They did
that's
that one
such a
time. Yeah.
that's such a wholesome story as how the NORAD Santa started. It's because some random kid.
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead and tell it. You start. I will actually pull up an article about it.
Yeah, so basically in the I believe the late '60s, some kid just randomly dialed a phone number trying to talk to Santa, and it was the NORAD hotline.
Oh.
And he's just like, "What? What's happening?" And but he had enough sense to basically play along with it, and he started to actually track where Santa was. And then it became a total tradition, or a tradition where NORAD would publicly broadcast over the radio like where Santa is currently.
It's adorable.
So yeah, I have the story right here. That is actually very wholesome chungus, right there.
Wholesome Chungus?
Wholesome chungus, yeah.
Back when we were a real country where we could, have the big war room where all the generals for a moment would have their version of modernist, Christmas truce by tracking Santa on NORAD. For the
I
children.
just love the quote. Speaking of war rooms, I just love the quote from Doctor Strangelove. Hey, there's no fighting allowed in here. This is the war room. All right, so we have NORAD Santa Tractor, 60-year-old tradition started with the wrong number. So Colorado Springs, it was the Cold War. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia were high. Their Continental Air Defense Command, or CONAD, had a special phone line set up in case of an imminent attack. On Christmas Eve, 1955, the phone rang. U.S. Air Force Colonel Harry Shoup feared the worst. The call was coming in on a top-secret line, which could mean only one thing. But when he picked the receiver up, the voice on the other end wasn't warning of Russian missiles. It had a different red concern in mind. Is Santa Claus, the tiny voice asked. That's funny. Dad's pretty annoyed, Shoup's daughter, Terry Van Kuren, recalled in 2009. He barks into the phone, demanding to know who's calling. The little voice is now crying. Is this one of Santa's elves, then? How on earth had the child gotten a highly classified number from a Sears ad that had run that very day with a big picture of Santa Claus urging children to call him?
Why did Sears think that was a good idea?
Oh, this was a 4chan. This reminds me of like like is this like the original Dub the Do?
Dub the Do.
Remember? Oh no, it was like what's the 4chan thing? Is it D?
It was also Dub the Do. That was also a 4chan thing.
No, there's that. What's that 4chan? What's that 4chan section? Is it like /D?
B. Random?
/B. Yeah, no, /B.
You'd be surprised how
Hey, that seems like a 4chan thing. Hey, call this number to prank you.
You'd be surprised how much commerce, ends up infecting the military-industrial complex. You have that. You have how nukes got exposed by Kodak. And then today, infamously, there's like a running calendar on when there's some autist who doxes or leaks a bunch of classified information because they want to prove the World
Leaks
of
it on
War
War
tank.
Thunder.
Yeah, the
Was that
War
the,
Thunder devs wrong.
Yeah, Discord server.
Was
Discord
that
server.
Jack the Dripper in Thug Chaser Central? Thug Shaker Central?
Oh my god.
I know there was one incident with one guy who called himself Jack the Dripper, and it was in a server called Thug Shaker Central.
Yeah, I don't know about that particular tale, but I know this year, literally an Air Force military intelligence guy leaked a ton of stuff to prove a
Yes,
point.
yeah, I remember that.
It is now a legitimate security clearance concern. Like, okay, do you play War Thunder?
Yes.
How many
Are-
hours?
Are you on Discord? Do you play War
Next
Thunder?
is going to be like something tells me that it's going to be like a red flag if they run a background check on you and they find out that you're in like Kaiserreich for like hours a week. But then
No, if you just play Hoi 4, period. What are you talking about?
well, yeah, no, if you play Hoi 4, but then after that, we're going to come to an age where those are the only people they're going to be hiring for the Pentagon because those are the only people who like know what to do in that situation, which just will be else.
I mean, I played Hoi 4 back in 2016 when it launched. I joined the U.S. Army in 2019. Coincidence?
I think
Think
not.
Speaking of, like, my mom once said that no good has ever come from people going on 4chan or playing World of Warcraft, and I think those are words of wisdom.
No,
I
I
never really was on 4chan. But I did play World of Warcraft back in the day.
Oh dear.
Hey, you're going to be hurting recruiting numbers if you start attacking video games.
But what's funny is with World of Warcraft, I'm gonna say so. There were periods where I would play it, and then I would come to a point. By the time I'd hit like level 60 or whatever, I'd think for a moment after having like fun for a while, after going on like a 3-week binge of the game, I'd be like, "What is the point of this game?" And then I'd just put it down and never get back to it. Then a year later, I'd recreate the same exact character, go to level 60, binge it for 3 weeks, and then I'd be like, what is the point of this game? Because like there really is no point to World of Warcraft. But either way, I digress. The ad reminded children to dial the correct number, but it was actually Sears that had the number wrong. The phone number advertised was off by a single digit, so instead of calling the North Pole, children were calling what we now know as NORAD. It caused a bunch of kids to call our operations center and start asking where Santa was, Major General Constance Jenkins told KKTV. It all could have ended there, but instead, as the phone started ringing off the hook, Shoop decided to play along. He grabbed the nearest airman and told him to help answer the phone. Instead of, just doing the whole, I think you got the wrong number, they employed the use of their means and figured out where Santa was and started talking to these kids. And just like that, thanks to a typo, a wrong number, and a kindly Air Force colonel, a now 68 years old and counting tradition was born. CONAD became NORAD in 1958, and every year since, NORAD puts hundreds of volunteers behind phones to answer calls from children around the world. Questions fielded by volunteers include pressing matters such as how fast can Santa travel and what time do I need to be in bed. If children want to talk to one of Santa's elves, they can call 1877-HI-NORAD. They can follow Santa's progress around the world through social media or the official NORAD Santa tracking website. That is actually really cute. I did not know that story. Thank you for sharing.
That's a really good story. Didn't know that.
And
Yeah.
this is why the Air Force is the least hated branch right now.
Yeah. No, but
Nobody
that's
really
true.
hates bus drivers, though.
I do hate, but I hate bus drivers. I like public transit, but I hate bus drivers.
No, you just hate buses. Buses have no filtering function.
The
I actually
shuttle
like buses. I don't
driver.
mind
You guys
At
have
the
public
airport today was
transportation where you guys live? Oh my god.
You don't have public
luxury.
transportation where you live? What are you saying?
Oh, what am I saying? Oh, I live in the hinterlands of America, where
Yeah,
we can't.
Man. Okay, so, but yeah. So wait, did we all do? We all did NORAD. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
I did that.
No.
I actually found out about NORAD late in life. I didn't know about that tradition.
You guys, wait, no. So wait, you were raised. You told me you're raised in a military family. How didn't you guys do? No, how weren't you raised on that?
My parents didn't tell me Santa was real or anything like that.
Oh, so did you like have Santa gifts?
No, I always knew they were from my parents.
Oh, so like you never had like you just never did Santa growing up.
Not really. I mean, it wasn't like my parents were like anti-Santa or anything like that. They just didn't like teach us for a bit, like, oh, Santa's real, and then have the whole like, oh no, you can't pop the bubble of magic or anything like that. No, we just didn't do that.
So my whole thing, how I found out there was no such thing as Santa, I don't know. I started realizing that a lot of these NORAD animations were just recycled every year. That's actually how I
Yeah,
found
they're
out.
all the same animation too.
The odd.
And it's like, and it gets to like, and then you get to me at like 8. Like, why is this the same exact animation I remember from like 5 years ago when I was 3? And especially given how far CGI has come along, how is this like? And it just started striking me as a little lazy. And so, and then I started milking it for a few years. And then I think when I was like 10 or 11, I was like, hey, Dad, Santa's not real, right? And then he's like, yeah. And I was like, I knew it.
Yeah. That was my story as well. Like at first I was just like I was like 7 or 8, I think, and I was like, well, first of all, I was like a very scarily proficient reader as a kid. And so I read parenting books when I was like 6 because I wanted to help take care of my little sister. Um, AKA I wanted to tell my mom what to do and be a nuisance. But I read, yeah. And so I found this one section in the book that was just like tricks for, when you play Santa Claus this year. And so I was like, okay, yeah, that points to Santa Claus not being real. But I was like, let me just believe it for a little bit. Let me just believe it for a little bit. And then I also was like, yeah, Santa's handwriting in the letter he sends my family every year looks an awful lot like my grandpa's. And
Wait,
I kind of just like played along, and when I was 11 and about to go to my 6th grade dance, I don't know why I just thought of it then. I just confronted my mom and I was like, Santa Claus isn't real, is he? And she was like, no, he's not. And
That
I
was me. That was me, but like coming back from swim practice.
You did swim too?
Oh yeah, no, this was back before I gained weight. Yeah.
I was a swimmer in middle school and high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Oh, you guys
tell-
had
are-
a pool in
are
your
you
guys'
telling-
school? Oh my god.
Are you telling me your parents didn't like read someone else's Santa note upside down so that way they could perfectly copy exactly how it was done to forge a signature?
Nar. I say
Uh,
nar like I'm not the most American person ever. I'm not Australian.
So actually, how this moment of realization came to me was just like my dad just told me straight up he wasn't real. At that point, I was like, okay, yeah, this
Man,
doesn't make sense.
Was I the only homeschooled kid among this bunch?
Yes.
I was
yeah,
homeschooled one day a week in elementary school to practice Polish.
I was
Um,
for a couple of years because this was when this was like elementary school through middle school.
Yeah, I
Right.
know you. I know you.
yeah, I just put.
But for me, it was more
Wow.
like tutoring. For me, it was more like it wasn't just like me at home. Like it was outsourced too.
Yeah. For me, I just kind of like put 2 and 2 together. I was like, this doesn't seem right. Also, I knew about the real story of Saint Nicholas even at an early age, and I was like, wait, if he was like a real saint and he's like dead, who is like this Santa that we're told is the same guy? And I was just like, no.
Are you telling me
Santa's not
Catholics
real.
don't have like
Really
this
good book.
lore about annual apparitions of saints?
There was
I mean, the apparition of a
really
saint
good book, but it was like
would have been more believable.
there was this good book that I remember reading as a kid, but it was like the it was like the it was called the autobiography of Santa Claus. It was like for kids, but it was like there was an audio book too that was, and it was like an 8-hour long book, but it was the story of Saint Nicholas, and then it gets to his death, and it's basically like he becomes an apparition, and then the next like 2/3, 3/4 of the book are about him basically wandering throughout history and meeting a bunch of historical figures and like engaging with all these Christmas traditions. And basically, what's the crazy? So in this book, Attila the Hun ends up joining him, and so does Attila. He converts Attila the Hun to Christianity in this book.
The crossover you never knew you needed.
Yeah. And but like the entire like first fourth of the book is like the actual story of Saint Nicholas, and it was able to create like sort of like a seamless like explanation for how Saint Nicholas is like the same Santa Claus. So it was a very good book, and it was a good audio narration too. Like I might listen to it again for the hell of it. But it was called The Autobiography of Santa Claus.
Interesting.
Well, yeah. But okay. But no, speaking of NORAD though, there's another thing. Look, there's a whammon behind it now. Meet the whammon behind NORAD's Santa Tracker.
Oh, gay.
The gynetocracy is here.
The longhouse has arrived.
Gynetocracy.
But
Somebody's in before the whammon don't exist comment. Hello.
Oh no, I was gonna push back and say like I've known a lot of very obscure and arcane systems of government. I've never heard a system of government where the doctors of people's genitals is in charge.
No, gynetocracy is the rule of women.
you're thinking of
Gynocracy.
Gynocracy.
No, it's a gynecocracy. Gynecolocracy. I don't know. That would be rule of gynecologists.
There's so many words for rules by different groups. But a rule of women, yes, it is truly lamentable we're in this reality.
So, NORAD in the U.S. Northern Command Public Affairs Director, Colonel Elizabeth Mathias, and more than 1,200 volunteers, mostly U.S. and Canadian military personnel, and local community members in Colorado Springs, spend December 24th working on the NORAD Santa Tracks program, the website that allows users to follow Santa's sleigh and become a phenomenon, gathering 9.6 million page visits in 2022. 365 days a year, NORAD keeps an eye on how things could potentially threaten North America and making sure that the nation's leaders in both the U.S. and Canada are aware and can take appropriate actions if necessary. But on December 24th, we have one additional very special mission, which is to track Santa as he flies around the globe and ensure his safety of flight. We do that with the same systems NORAD uses every day. So now here's the one thing. So I wonder if NORAD, at least within the lore of NORAD, I wonder if they potentially see the North Pole as a threat, and that's why they are monitoring Santa, because they want to make sure that he doesn't have any additional presents to drop off while he's in U.S. airspace.
How does he evade our missile defense system every time? Although the dysgenic effect in our military, I wouldn't doubt if it'd be easy to dodge.
But either way,
why isn't the North Pole considered to be a continent?
Because there's no land.
No. It's the North
no
Pole.
Permanent land.
Well, it's ice, but then the North Pole, just the Arctic in general, though, is like an amalgamation of multiple different.
Yeah.
Well, it's mostly islands submerged under ice that are like below sea level.
Yeah. So I mean, it's solid. It's solid, quote unquote, land in a way, but like, it's not. It's not like ground.
Uniquely, most of the polar region, if you go look at the seabed, it's actually pretty elevated. It's like a giant continental shelf, the size of a continent, but there's no continent.
You know, like we could just look up a picture of Hyperborea and be like, yes, that is the North Pole. It's
I
just underwater right
mean,
now.
that would be the good esoteric take.
What is
Yes.
Hyperborea? I know that I know also, hi y'all. I know that it's ancient Greek, an ancient Greek myth, but
Mm,
what exactly
mm.
is it? I've seen it in memes a lot.
I mean, Hyperborea is like this mythical golden age land when man walked amongst the gods. It was essentially like the utopia.
It's like
Um,
the Atlantis of the North Pole, basically.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much
it's
that.
white Shangri-La.
Uh,
Yeah, and it disappeared after the golden age of man, and then Atlantis was the next stage, the
I
Atlantean
prefer,
civilization.
honestly, I prefer Pangea. I think we should return to Pangea.
Pangea, Return to Monkey.
Yes.
But so we have
Actually,
another. What?
push,
What,
push,
David?
push his glasses. Actually, it's pronounced Pan-Ia.
Is it really?
Pangea.
No, it's just one of the. It's just one of
Pushes
those foam.
glasses.
It's just one of those foam memes that probably could be
Oh,
pronounced that way.
it's David Wayne being dumb, guys.
He's just doing his Reddit mod
Oh.
impression.
It's the pseudo pedant meme.
Greetings, Diego, and greetings, Tethys. How are you guys doing?
Tethys, actually.
Tethys. Well, good to see them. Good to see
I
that
think we all know Hyperborea was ancient Doggerland. That's the true identity of Hyperborea.
We should.
That-
We
that-
know. Okay, honestly, Hyperborea is such like a high-profile topic. It deserves a stream by itself.
It was
Yes.
Doggerland. People just don't talk about it.
You know what? Maybe that could be a net. Maybe we can have a stream next week on Hyperborea for those who are Hyperborea enthusiasts.
honestly, I'd probably move to Britbong land if there was a serious political party whose entire goal was to revive Doggerland.
Hey, Tethys,
Yes.
Tethys, that is the spirit. That is the spirit right there.
Yes.
Yes, and he's in heaven with a real saint's name.
No, Santa's real because he is the first hyper real person to be born.
I mean, Santa deniers will say that the presents just appear under your tree. Like that makes no sense.
Oh,
Yes, where do they think-
was it your parents that
Where do they
slapped
think
Arius at the
this is there?
Council of
Parents?
Nicaea?
I know this.
Put it there.
I know this may be a controversial take among you guys as I'm like the lone Protestant here, but I believe in the real presence of Santa under the tree.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yes, now go to the next logical extent of the Eucharist.
All right.
Let's try to keep it on
Alright,
topic.
so-
Keep it on topic.
No, we're gonna go
No,
to another.
that's in the
We're gonna-
topic because it
I
is
think
the Christ
we've worn
Mass.
this one out. We're gonna go to another topic. So we're gonna go to some news. So we're gonna end with actually. So we're gonna do. Speaking of, while we're talking about Saint Nicholas, Bishop Nicholas loses his cool at the Council of Nicaea. In 8325, Emperor Constantine convened at the Council of Nicaea, the very first ecumenical council.
I love this news.
Yes.
More than 300 bishops came from all over the Christian world to debate the nature of the Holy Trinity. It was one of the early church's most intense theological questions. Arius from Egypt was teaching that Jesus the Son was not equal to God the Father. Arius forcefully argued his position at length. The bishops listened respectfully. As Arius vigorously continued, Nicholas became more and more agitated. Finally, he could no longer bear what he believed was essential being attacked. The outraged St. Nicholas got up, crossed the room, and slapped Arius across the face. The bishops were shocked. It was unbelievable that a bishop would lose control and be so hot-headed in such a solemn assembly. They brought Nicholas to Emperor Constantine. Constantine said that even though it was illegal for anyone to strike another in his presence, in this case, the bishops themselves must determine the punishment. The bishops stripped Nicholas of his bishop's garments, chained him, and threw him into jail. That would keep Nicholas away from the meeting. When the council ended, a final decision would be made about his future. Nicholas was ashamed and prayed for forgiveness, though he did not waver in his belief. During the night, Jesus and Mary, his mother, appeared. asking, "Why are you in jail?" Asking, "Why are you in jail?" "Because of my love for you," St. Nicholas replied. Jesus then gave the book of the Gospels to Nicholas. Mary gave him an omophorion, so Nicholas would again be dressed as a bishop. Now at peace, Nicholas studied the scriptures for the rest of the night. When the jailer came in the morning, he found the chains loose on the floor, Nicholas dressed in his bishop's robes, quietly reading the scriptures. When Constantine was told of this, the emperor asked that Nicholas be freed. Nicholas was then fully reinstated as the bishop of Myra. The Council of Nicaea agreed with Nicholas's views, deciding the question against Arius. The work of the council produced the Nicene Creed, which today many Christians repeat weekly when they stand to say what they believe.
He just imagine if we had incorporated that into the modern, like, telling of Santa Claus.
It
Like,
should be.
like he just slaps
Hey!
people.
Okay, on the one hand,
Slappy
There is-
holiday. Why not take the Santa Claus tradition a little further? Yes.
Happy holidays.
I get the instinct for the Giga Chad, Santa meme. At the same time, it does make the Trinitarian position look weak because you resort to physical violence. Like it's the same reason why we mock Muslims whenever you see like a street preacher get into a debate with Muslims and whatnot, and the Muslims go ape as it were, and just start attacking physically because
Or maybe the street preacher,
Disavow.
or maybe hear me out. Maybe the street preacher is cucked and the Muslims aren't. Maybe he.
No.
maybe,
I'm not saying the street preachers are like responding in a pacifistic manner. It's rather the first guy who goes to violence when words fail shows that their arguments are weak.
Wayne.
No,
Wayne, you're
in
being a Wayniac again. You're doing this.
No, it's
You're
true.
doing
No,
this thing again.
This is
We're-
the
this is
optics
a
game.
tongue-in-cheek stream.
St. Nicholas didn't care about the optics game.
This is not
No,
a.
it's not the optics.
This is not
game.
a politics
It's-
game, guys.
it's the reality of if you do not believe the power of your rhetorical arguments, force is the necessary. The
I
necessary.
mean, some people like Arya shouldn't even be allowed to speak. So
cringe.
I found it funny that
You're
the
still
politics- I found it funny
you're
that
still
the-
salty about those northern Germans being all converted, and then you had to go to swords to stop it.
Okay. Either way.
exactly, they needed to be put down.
Either way. Okay. So, I don't know. I think that's a ending the Saint Nicholas bit. We're going to go to. So you know what? So here we are. We are going to get a little political for a second, but like not in a sense where we're going to argue anything. But here's something that made me laugh. Just here's some real good holiday cringe. Dance company featured in Jill Biden's Christmas video promotes prison abolition, defund the police groups. Dorrance dance promotes controversial policies on equipment.
Oh, boo! Get this off the stream. This is indecent.
Okay, we need to. Does it have the full video? Okay, no, I'm gonna need to pull up the.
No, don't pull up the full video.
I'm gonna have to pull up the video. So, New York dancing troupe enlists listed by First Lady Jill Biden for a Christmas video promotes Oh, here's the video right here. Okay, guys.
You're forcing me as a Baptist to cross myself.
The face.
That looks like a
Is that what the army's like today? Phil?
Well, it said enlisted, but I think enlisted they mean just by like recruited a team to do this. I don't think this is the actual. least that's what I got when you were reading the article. Was it just meant enlistment in terms of like recruiting a team to a very disconnected team, but a team nonetheless.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I'm
That
wondering?
was
I have like 15 different streams of thought coming at me right now from that stream, that video. Like, what?
You know what I'm
okay.
wondering
Let's
right
go.
now?
Let's go in order. Let's start with Kilhoon, and we're going to go around and say what your thoughts are on what we just saw. And mind you, this was the idea of our wonderful First Lady, Mrs. Jill Biden.
The Dr. Jill Biden.
Dr. Jill.
She's a-
Yeah,
Okay,
Dr. Jill
fine.
Biden.
Dr. Jill
She's a
Biden. I don't know if she's a doctorate, but okay. All right, Kilhoon. What are your thoughts?
Doctor
on
of
this?
Education.
So, frankly, if you want my honest views, it'd get taken off of YouTube pretty quickly. But I guess the tame, censored view that I have
Give me the version that will be allowed on.
I'm giving you the YouTube
Yeah.
allowed version right now. A bunch of dysgenic freaks hired by a dysgenic freak within the dysgenic administration running the dysgenic American empire.
Okay, Maria.
What I'm wondering is who put all that up in the White House? Who took it down? And how long did it take?
And how long did it take to
Clean it up.
Yeah, like I just want to know why there could have been a classier way to do it. Like I get that they were trying to go for something like new or hip. They wanted to do something like different than usual, and they sure did. But like,
I would have liked if they'd danced to the actual Nutcracker music.
yes, and it's like I don't even have anything against like tap dancing. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool, but like just not for this.
No,
Like,
I just honestly I like the Nutcracker. I just like the music from the Nutcracker. I performed it in a school Christmas program in kindergarten. Wait, they did it all in one shot. It wasn't remade
I highly doubt that. There were several.
in the comments. That
Oh, I think they did. I think they did it in. Oh, so Diego says that they did it in one shot.
No, it looks like it was an edited one shot.
it looked like
There's
it was.
several-
It looked like it was been more like 2 or 3.
Yeah, no, it looks like it was edited to look like a one shot, but no, I don't think
I
it was
mean,
a genuine
Diego
one-shot.
does. I mean, Diego does claim to be a filmmaker. So, like, I mean, if that is true,
I studied
that's
filmmaking.
recognizable.
I studied filmmaking pretty intensely during my college years. It was edited to look like a one shot, but there were very clear points where there could be a hidden edit.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so American Elitists, your thoughts?
I can't say what I want to see on YouTube, but theater kids make me more angry every day and make me realize that we should have beat them up in high school.
Diego, you're not wrong. That hidden
yes,
cuts are
beat
still
up
impressive.
theater kids.
I
We
was a
should-
theater
we
kid
should
in
have-
high school. I was a
theater kid in high
but I
school.
should not be-
Literally nobody's surprise.
Yeah. And finally, David Wayne.
I wasn't an analog to a theater kid, but I did fall in love with the Bard after I read Much Ado About Nothing. Anyway, however, to this, I have contradictory thoughts about this video because there's like there's two big camps, as it were, that you could take about it. On the one hand, it's very clearly a mockery of the history of the nation, because we all know the demographic that was involved primarily very disproportionately to it, so much so that the demographic itself thinks that it's 40% of the nation. On the other hand, I can't help but laugh because there's like this undertone of minstrelsy of minstrel shows in the entire act. So that's my takeaway from it.
So it gives you it did give the reactions did give me minstrel show vibes. Like you guys are all aware of what minstrel shows are, right?
And on top of that, like on the one hand, it's kind of nice that they did the whole show or tap dance thing, but at the same time, it's like it's ossified. Like honestly, like a project that me and the Politicrat are working on right now is doing a zine, and as far as I can tell, we're doing a very unique angle on the zine as a concept by using QR codes, which is like what, a 2 decades old technology or more. And as far as I know, none of these people who want to LARP as like the man or whatever, or not the man, as the underground, the punk people, have ever decided to use QR codes as a unique angle. So it's like, okay, you're doing tap dance, but like that's like a 2 centuries old art form. And what are you adding to it? What are you actually doing? What are you?
It's not. It's not. You're not making tap dancing better. You're just making the Nutcracker worse.
Yes.
Was that a
Or-
King
or-
of the Hill reference?
Yes,
Yes,
it
it
was.
was.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
no,
I
no,
love
no,
King of the Hill.
Or even better, you're making the Nutcracker worse.
No, I said they're not making tap dancing better. They're just
I-
making
I-
the
I-
Nutcracker.
I know I'm referencing Dan Baltic, with
Well,
Nutcracker.
I don't know who that is. So,
He's a novelist out of New York.
but that's basically what it is. That's the best way of yeah.
Also, it has gay aesthetics to it in the costumes.
I mean, that was clearly. I don't understand though. What was the point? What was the point of the the flower and like what was the somebody was an ant? Like-
I mean, what I forget who pointed it out, but someone pointed out that in the sequence that they had Dylan Mulvaney do his sequence dressed as a schoolgirl. And he
Wait, Dylan
purposely
Mulvaney
did-
was in this?
Oh, he's
Yes.
in it?
Yeah, and he did a an upskirt flash, though he was like in boxer briefs. So I mean, guess that's maybe it's like Freudian, maybe it's not, but he's an upskirt flash with boxer briefs. So it's like, what the? I don't know. I don't want to put my mind there.
Either way, so back to the article. Let's read more. Let's find out more about this group. So apparently, Dorrance Dance is what they are called. United States of Bananas. Oh, that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get what the guy dressed as as the rabbit. Was there a rabbit in the Nutcracker? Was there a rabbit king?
There should have been someone should have dressed as a rat king. That's
No,
like
yeah,
what
the
makes-
rat. Yeah, rat.
No, but
the
that's a
rat
rabbit.
man.
Somebody was a rabbit, not a rat. See this guy right here? This is a rat. It's totally a rabbit.
Yeah, they're mixing religious imagery together.
He
And
looked like a
rabbits-
pig to me, but
And
But
rabbits
so-
also are just generally a part of that kind of like wholesome class of animals that are easy to
But so
aesthetize
Dorrance
everywhere.
Dance's Take Action for Justice and Change website page pushes readers to put their local BLM or showing up for racial justice. I don't even know what that is. Is Surge a thing? I've never heard of Surge. Well, including a quote from Surge directly below it on their website. In this movement, we know there are thousands of white people who, or I'm gonna do the Jared Taylor voice. In this moment, we know there are thousands of white people who are looking for direction and a way to show up alongside black communities and communities of color. Welcome, the quote reads, you are needed. Here are a few days to start showing up, not just in words, but in actions. This quote was pulled from Surge's May 2020 Medium article, 5 Ways White People Can Take Action in Response to White in State-Sanctioned Violence. Like, I don't get what this has to do with Christmas. Like,
it's theater
Yeah,
kid
'cause-
nonsense.
No, because the actual like the actual like fear build analysis of the war on Christmas is basically a reduction of and concentration of the culture war at large, where it's a
I just realized the article wasn't being shared.
Yeah.
it's a two-pronged attack on both Christianity at the spiritual level, but also on the people who brought Christianity to the world at the physical level. In this case, it's particularized to the English and the English expressions of Christian.
Whose background is that? There's something in the background. Whoever that is.
It is. Oh, guess someone set it
Okay,
off.
that was Cahoon.
And so in the particular to Christmas in the American context, it's an attack basically on English Americans. In the same way that the culture war is broadly on European Americans, and it's also, ultimately, if you peel back all the layers, it's an attack upon Christianity.
So, yeah, I just think it's like, I mean, I think, of course, we all know why they chose to do it, but it's like, what does this have to do with Christmas? And it's like, yes, we know it's like not a good faith and stuff, but are they fooling anybody? Like, I mean, they might seem like they're not trying to make a political statement, but it's clear what they're doing. And the crazy thing is, they're choosing like a communist tap dance group. And Joe Biden's not even a communist. He's just like a regular liberal.
Oh, he's kind of mush at this point, so I wouldn't even call him a liberal because he can't make those political decisions in his own mind anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it's just a classic case of friend-enemy distinction. They're attacking their political enemies' traditions and what they believe, and attacking their sensibilities. That's what every left-wing group has done throughout all of human history that they've operated. If they can't attack them openly in the streets, they attack their sensibilities and attack their morality.
So they are. So Insight, apparently, this is the organization that sponsors them, a network of radical feminists of color, okay, organizing to end state violence and violence in our homes and communities. Insight also pushes allegations of quote-unquote genocide against the Israeli government on their homepage, which reads Free Palestine at the top, and pushes for a digital poster for downloading reading Feminists of Color Rise Up, Free Palestine. You see, this sounds like a Chat GPT slogan right here. It's just words. Feminists of Color Rise Up, Free Palestine. This seems
Well,
like
they don't have independent thought.
This seems like just like a bunch of hashtags.
I mean, it is because, frankly, they are incapable of actual independent thought. Like, well, most people aren't even capable of rational thinking. So why should you expect that out of a group like this?
But here's the thing. Okay, at least they're consistent. They say they end state violence. So no wonder they support Hamas, because Hamas isn't a state. Like, that's kind of consistent.
It's effectively a state that rules Palestine. It's effectively the government.
Gaza, it's basically Gaza's. It's
You're
like a mob. Gaza's like a mob state run by Hamas.
You're
Hey,
projecting
every
too
government's a mob at the end of the day.
You're
Yeah.
projecting too much intelligence on them. They're not thinking at that level.
Yes, their let's just say their genetics don't preclude them to intelligence.
But anyway, so Insight
Also, I would
pushes-
love to know their definition of community. Scroll up a little bit. How they really emphasize homes and communities. Like, these people don't actually believe in an organic community. They want like an artificial community that they make up in their heads of what is a community and what isn't a community. Like, there's no
Hey guys,
the old ideas
we are
of
going
community.
to guys. We're gonna change subjects. Like I said, I'm not gonna be getting too political
Well, this
here.
isn't political. I'm just talking about like simple definitions. Like, these people don't understand what an actual community is. Like, a thick, real community is alien to them, and they are frankly abhorrent to it.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that that's a bit cringe right there, though, that entire situation. But do you guys want to go on and talk a little bit about Christmas songs, Christmas movies, that sort of thing?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So hold on a second. So what is everybody's favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh.
Go in circle.
Yeah.
All right. A Christmas Carol, the one made in 1984 with George C. Scott is the actor.
Okay. And what about you? What
I
about you?
think
What about you, Maria?
I forget what it's called, but there was this movie that my family and I always used to watch every Christmas, and it was the night before Christmas, but with mice. Have you seen that? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Hold on. I was just thinking about that yesterday. Hold on a second. I'll play. Hold on. Is this the one you're talking about? I am going to.
And yes, we do need Joe Swanson in Fortnite ASAP, but we also need we don't forget Cleveland Brown. We also need Cleveland Brown.
Miracles happen most glad. We'll do what's necessary, 'cause even a miracle needs a
Is this it?
I don't know.
You love and I
Is the main character a mouse? Like, is there a mouse? Looks familiar.
Okay. And there's like a clock.
I know there's a clock. Yes, this might be it. I think it is. Yes, it
Okay.
was called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Yeah. So yeah, I
Very
remember
nice.
that was like one of those Rankin Bass, one of the Rankin Bass things.
It's a grand pity that that Western limited animation didn't catch on to the degree that it did in Japan. We are impoverished because it did not.
Well, especially look at American cartoons today that are drawn by freaks of nature, and they make their cartoons look like freaks of
That-
nature.
It's an example of American decadence, sadly.
Yes, we're in the collapse of the empire, so we have decadent.
I would disagree with that.
No, okay, guys. Again, guys. We're not talking. This is time. This is not a time for doomerism. This is not a time for any conversation. We're talking about strictly about Christmas pop culture right now.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
why I
yeah,
wish Ray
that's-
Murasami was here, because she's good to like view us into those crazy topics. But either way, AE, what's your favorite Christmas?
So my favorite Christmas movie has been always will be Polar Express.
Interesting.
Explain, because that movie always like was kind of creepy.
Well, it has a
the
very-
guy for Hyperreal?
I'm sorry, what?
I wouldn't take you for a man who favored the Hyperreal.
I know, but like I like its deep, like metaphysical kind of elements it has to it. Very like Christian elements to the movie, and it's obviously like train built and like it's very like ordered.
Elaborate on the metaphysical build.
Well, the train conductor works for Santa. It's revealed at the end of the movie, right? But like he claims to have been saved from falling off the train, which is like a death sentence by angels many times. He talks about the spiritual nature of reality quite a lot in the movie. And he's trying to convince the main character, who's very skeptical of this like underlying spiritual reality. And he does at the very end of the movie become convinced of it. And that's I like the movie's very positive message at the end. I think it's very good.
I will admit, Josh Groban's version of "If You Believe" hits in the feels.
And it's like the entire movie takes place on a train in like the mid-20s or 30s America, so it's pretty based. So that's why it's my favorite movie.
I mean, there was that implicit moment where about the girl that didn't have a ticket. So you know.
Yes, he was gonna get thrown off.
But-
I forgot Ben-Hur was actually they depicted the nativity scene, which makes it a Christmas movie technically. So
Okay, Darth Calhoun, we need to make this into like a micro Twitter phenomenon. We need to like signal boost that Ben-Hur is in fact a Christmas movie. To counter
Yes.
signal the Reddit atheists.
people now don't get that. Wait, what's y'all's opinions on the discourse of what's it called? Die Hard being a Christmas movie. I have never seen it, so I do not have an opinion.
I enjoy contrarianism for contrarianism's sake. As many people will know from my internet presence, I'm known as the chief coal poster. However,
Yes.
years into
He is the one who goes to all of like the he goes to the groups, like he goes and starts talking to groups who are like very like Civil War enthusiasts who like the South, and just like tells them like Robert E. Lee is in hell, and then runs away just to like
I don't run away. I get kicked out of those groups. Okay, I'll have you
Yeah.
know.
hey Hey, no, it's Grant that's in hell. Don't you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, Grant in Hell is debatable. Sherman in
Okay, no,
Hell is
guys.
not
I was making a
Anyway,
tongue-in-cheek joke. Let's
yeah,
continue.
yeah. Anyway, point is, however, 3 years into the discourse, it's like it's a tired joke now. Okay, yeah, you can make your point. Let's move on, but like people won't move on. However, in
Yeah,
the case of like,
it's a meme.
yeah,
David Wayne, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I'm gonna agree with one of the commenters. It's a Wonderful Life. It is. I'm going to be stealing some talking points from that are given me third hand from one of my contacts, Aaron Wren, because he did a very wonderful video. I highly recommend it to you all, where he rereads and comments upon a post from a OG NRX blogger who was talking about how uh, It's a Wonderful Life is this really beautiful portrait of what old Protestant America was. And he talked about, and the blogger was talking about how while he loves, the Catholic theology of the incarnation and whatnot, It's a Wonderful Life gave a beautiful portrait of of Protestant America at its best, where it delivered the goods of a guy who worked for his community and at the end of the day was able to uh, deliver to the people the things that they truly needed. And and honestly, when you are an aesthetically sensitive person and you are not watching It's a Wonderful Life just out of like rote because you're a white bread American and that's what you watch at Christmas after like 5 years and you watch it again and it really just like is a gut punch because you realize what he's actually going through in a fresh way. And this is all delivered in a Christmas context where it's like this jarring mix of genres between a guy who is at the very end of his rope and the supernatural.
So for
So,
me, I'd say that's a good analysis. I mean, I think it's a Wonderful Life. Yes, it is um, essentially a Christmas movie. Like, I mean, it's treated as one because it embodies the spirit of it. But it's really kind of like an anytime movie because it occurs at multiple times throughout the year. Like it almost is like it transcends Christmas. But I still have to say one that I can never get. So I personally love Elf. However, I get tired of watching Elf. Like I've purposefully had to take some years off of watching Elf. But one I can never get tired of is A Muppet Christmas Carol.
that is good as well.
Um, the,
What about you,
the
Maria? Have you ever seen
Muppets.
Muppet Christmas Carol before? She might be AFK.
She.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've seen the Muppet Christmas Carol more than once. I wouldn't say I like it more than the original. I mean, what is the original? We can argue that a lot, but I don't forget the Mises. Oh no, cheeses for the Mises? Was that what it is? That's an iconic line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's even cheese for me, something like that.
so
But
so in terms
it
of the
was in one of
Muppet
the
film,
songs.
I think I only watched it once. And I think I was like 10, so I barely remember that movie. But Elf, I remember despising that movie as a kid, and I still do. I cannot stand it.
Boo! You have
Never
no
have been
heart.
able to.
Boo!
Yes, even as a kid, I hated it. Never liked Buddy or its weird
If you
'90s
don't love
message, I guess,
if you don't
or
love
was it
Elf,
'80s?
That wasn't
if you don't,
eight. Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Elf was early 2000s. Elf was
yeah,
definitely
that's the
not.
early oddies, man. Get the fuck out of here! Like,
I
if you
don't
don't,
know. I literally don't know when these movies were made. I just remember hating it as a kid and it being shoved in my face every time we had to
Zoomer,
watch it when we watched Christmas movies at my friends or at school.
Zoomer, atheist, Frenchman.
No, not atheist. I want the true story of Christmas. I don't want some uh who's that actor again?
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I don't want Will Ferrell in my face.
Mhm.
Yeah, but so okay, so now we go on to least favorite Christmas movies. But we can't. But no one can say Elf because some of you guys don't like Elf. It seems, but and yeah, I was thinking we'll probably go for about another half hour, and we'll start to wrap things up. But because I know a couple of us have to get to bed. It's coming up soon, but let's start getting into. Should we actually go off of the who wants to pull up the list of the ones that are rated as the consistently worst Christmas movies? I think we've done that before, but I kind of want to do that again.
Every Hallmark
Pull it
movie.
No, boo, no. Hallmark is the last implicit stand
No,
of
hey, what?
American Identity.
Of what corporate
Oh,
identity?
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
reading
say
Wayne now
American
because
Identity.
Wayne, I don't want Wayne to go on his
American Identity. Okay, I know the rules. Okay, come on.
Hold on a second. Worst Christmas
I mean,
movies.
every Hallmark movie is literally just like a girl goes back to her hometown, falls in love with a guy over Christmas, marries said guy. Like and Christ isn't mentioned once in every. I don't think I've ever seen a Hallmark Christmas movie where they mentioned Christ once.
So, we are on. So, we are 22 worst Christmas movies ever. I'm gonna want to hear everybody. If everyone's seen it before, we're gonna have to. Somebody has to say something. So,
Home Alone 3, yes.
Nope.
Seen that one. Yeah.
Home
It's kinda
Alone 3.
meh.
Never
Yeah, it's
seen
just
it.
meh.
I don't think I've
All
seen
right.
it.
Unaccompanied minors.
Nope.
I've heard
No.
of it,
No.
never seen it. Noel, 2004.
Nope.
I've never heard of it.
Nope.
Four Christmases.
No.
No.
Nope.
No.
All Be Home for Christmas.
Nope.
No.
Maybe? I saw that one.
Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
I wish
that
I
one
had
sounds
seen
funny.
that, but no.
I think the conclusion I'm drawing a bit hastily is that our parents loved us.
No, there was a Mystery Science Theater I think they did on Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. But
Again, our parents loved us.
The Christmas Candle.
What?
No.
What is
No.
that?
I've heard
No.
of Fred Claus, but I never watched it.
Fred Claus. I remember Fred Claus. I remember it being kind of funny, but like nothing memorable. It was, but then but the crazy thing is, so the Fred in this is Santa Claus's older brother, which is weird. Vince Vaughn is Santa's older brother.
You know what is a terrible Christmas movie, even though it was told to me by my Gen X roommate that it was supposed to be a good movie? It's like the Christmas Holiday or the Christmas Vacation or whatever by what's his name? Chevy Chase.
Oh, Chevy Chase, that movie's hilarious. Yeah.
I found it to be very boring and dry.
Okay. Not the Santa Claus, but Santa Claus. In ancient
Literally
times. Oh no, it's taking me to another list. This right here.
Nope.
What?
No.
Hold on.
No.
This is apparently a movie called.
Everyone's talking about the movie Poor Things.
Not this.
This is actually interesting.
And now,
I don't want to.
Anything coming out of modern Hollywood is not interesting.
This is just a movie called Santa Claus. I've never heard of it.
That there would come to us a chosen one, and that he himself would be an artisan and a skilled maker of toys. From this day on, now and forever, you will bring our gifts to all the children.
They should have said girls and boys because it rhymes with toys.
This is your legacy and your gift, as is the gift of fright.
It's them!
Every year, the magic happens again.
Merry Christmas!
It certainly should be.
Oh,
Who are you? I'm an elf. An elf? Yes. You mean like a fairy? I mean, I'm talking modern methods of production here. I'm talking assembly line. I'm talking way for the future.
Now,
Oh
someone
no,
wants to
it's the
take magic
Industrial
out of
Revolution
Christmas.
coming to
We say,
destroy culture.
Brothers, it's going to cost you. Cost who?
Damn
Who
capitalists.
buy the toy? For nothing. We're going to give them away free. For free?
That's not how we do it here.
Santa Claus is finished. I just wanted him to see what a good assistant I could be.
Only one man can stop him. Only one man can help us. And he's coming to take you for a sleigh ride in the stars. Alexander Salkind presents Dudley Moore
What the hell?
and John
What,
Lithgow.
Pat? We need to have a watch party.
The legend comes to life for the very first time.
This just looks like chaos.
We need to have a watch party for this. Come on, man.
This looks
Let's-
like a
let's
good
do-
movie.
What?
Ironic.
December 26th. We need to watch this.
December 26th. And then there's also hold on, for Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Real quick, we're gonna have to turn on the trailer for that though.
You know, I tend to like 60s movies, but
Toyota
I don't know
is
about this
on.
one.
Time to make the holiday.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy knowing.
Christmas car commercials. You don't see any of those anymore.
Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
Oh my god.
Santa sets up a fantastic automatic toy factory on Mars. The Martian leader battles the wicked Voldar in a desperate effort to save Santa, the wise man of Mars. 900 years old. The Battle of the Toys, when Martian kids and Earth kids join Santa to battle the bad guys of Mars.
It even has that stupid 60s music.
For real space-age fun, you'll be out of
Yeah.
this world when
Uh,
Santa Claus conquers the
What
Martians.
were they smoking? Like, this was the 60s, so we have to assume a lot.
the music.
So what did you guys think? So what
of it?
did you guys think of that? Actually, I kind of want to hear Mario's analysis. Mario, what's your analysis on that?
I kind of want to watch it.
That would actually make a fun watch party too.
I don't know. The music was the most redeeming factor of it. You know, it's not going to be peppered in enough to make it interesting.
But Santa Claus, this movie looks like interesting. Dudley Moore.
Unironically, send me the link to that.
So, Tyler Perry's Medea Christmas.
What is it, if that's about the ancient Greek myth of Medea, what?
No,
we are not. As far as I can tell,
so
there are no Magic Americans here. So
perfect, the perfect holiday. No. Love the Cooper. Never heard of it.
boo!
Oh.
Why is this? No, that's actually so bad. It's good. Come on.
No, it's a good movie.
That is
That's
so
a
bad.
good movie.
Well, with Martin Short as Santa Claus or as Jack Frost.
Yes, he was so good at that. Like, what? Why is this ranked so bad? These people have no taste.
Hey, Rotten Tomato doesn't like it, which I would have to concur.
Let's see what the audience score is. Audience
Although
score is
Tim Allen,
39.
Tim Allen is a decent actor, but he's done a disservice by this movie.
Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Never heard of it.
No,
It's all
never
right.
seen it.
A Merry Freaking Christmas.
No.
Okay.
Sounds
Black
like a Gen X
Christmas.
film.
An American Carol. Oh, I think I've heard of this. This was like a really. This is like I think I remember this being. There's not even a trailer for it, but it was basically. So it was basically like a Christmas Carol. I remember seeing this. It was basically a Christmas Carol, but it was the 4th of July, and the main character was Michael Moore.
I already know it's bad now.
It was like a parody of like a liberal like documentary maker who hates America, like and the ghosts of America visit him. It was like attempt at like boomer conservative comedy.
I would have probably been unconvinced by the ghosts if they were trying to convince me.
Surviving Christmas, Deck the Halls, Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh, I remember that movie.
The
Yeah.
Nutcracker.
And the Nutcracker 2010.
But Christmas with the Cranks was I don't know. It was wholesome, but yet it was also like pretty. It wasn't great writing in the movie.
There was a cult. All I remember was the neighborhood would made up of a bunch of cultists, who worshipped, like consumerism and worshipped a snowman.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised the Kirk Cameron Christmas movie didn't make this list.
Really?
Oh god,
yeah. What is it? Saving Christmas?
No, it's not per se that bad as like what I've seen so far. It's more just I would expect that based off my heuristics of these types of lists.
I mean, I heard it is one of the worst. It is like yep. So according to IMDb, Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas is number 1.
Oh my god. Star Wars Holiday Special.
So okay, has everybody heard of the Star Wars Christmas Special from 1978?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of the downsides of IMDb. They're all Redditors. So on the one hand,
it was genuinely bad.
No, I'm just saying like Kirk Cameron's Saves Christmas or whatever is not the worst movie, but it aligns with
what. There's no running cover for. There's no running defense for this movie.
Which movie?
Did you actually watched Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas?
Yes, in theaters.
What the hell?
My parents are evangelicals to me.
But they still
Evangelifish.
No, but I'm just saying.
Oh, that's rich coming from the gay Pope camp. Come on, man. Like.
Okay, before I actually bust out the real blessing.
Okay.
Blessing people, not.
All right, so we now have we have Santa Claus conquers the Martian, The Wonderful World. Okay, Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House.
That one's also bad.
It sounds gay. Sounds gay.
It's really bad.
We have Home Alone 3, Santa Claus 3, Turbulence, Deck the Halls, with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito, Christmas with the Cranks, 8 Crazy Nights, Adam Sandler. Davy Stone, an alcoholic with a criminal record, is sentenced to community service under the supervision of an elderly referee. Davy is then faced with trying to reform and abandon his bad habits. I guess that's
knowing Adam Sandler movies, it's probably pretty bad.
A Bad Mom's Christmas. Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Okay, is that the same Nutcracker?
No, that's a different one.
I don't think so.
Okay, the Santa Claus 2 I remember liking.
No, that's a good movie. Fucking Redditors.
Isn't that the one? Isn't that the one with there was a?
He has to get married, I think.
Yeah, but then there was also an evil robot Santa.
Yeah.
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 And Fred Claus. Fred Claus, I kind of remember finding kind of funny. But other than that, yeah, I think there's another movie too called Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then there's Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. And here is the most iconic scene from Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, right here.
day. No!
What? What movie was that from?
That's from Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Oh my god.
So I think a good way to end to end. So Christmas music. What is everyone's opinion on Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas"?
Needs to die. Burn it.
Or
All right, and
Literally never want to hear it again.
Mario, what's your opinion on Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas"? Oh, maybe she's not. Did she step away? Oh, AE. Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas."
It's cringe, gay. We need to go back to tradition. That's what I have to say about it.
David Wayne.
Fake gay and retarded.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna end tonight. We're gonna be talking about consumer trends relating to Christmas. Hold on.
Consumer trends, aka
Oh, hold on. We have right here from Psychology Today, and I know Maria recommended we do this. Are you still there, Maria?
Yeah, but I think I have to go soon. I just got off a long flight.
Oh, okay, okay. Would you guys say you all have about another 10 minutes or so?
I have
Yeah,
time.
I'd say so.
I have time.
Okay. But yeah, no. So we have, with Christmas just around the corner, what a better time to look at how consumer choices can impact people's lives. A significant part of Christmas is linked to consumption, whether it be food, Christmas decorations, television watching, or music listening. This year has been estimated that an American household will spend around $1,000 on Christmas, and the country as a whole will spend over $900 billion. One common tradition is to send Christmas cards, and around 2 billion are sent in the U.S. alone. Recently, it's been suggested that it might be possible to use whether someone sends a card as a way to identify people who may need support during the festive season. That's an interesting one. People are much less likely to send cards if they're feeling depressed. Hence, it's been suggested that if you expect a card from a loved one, perhaps they usually send one, and if you don't get one, maybe you ought to check with them. Interesting. So gift giving is a big part of Christmas, and unfortunately for the giver, it can be difficult to satisfy people's expectations. Research has found that to make recipients happy, effort and/or money is generally required. Good gifts are associated with high quality, and that can be costly. This year, that may pose a problem, as many are experiencing financial hardships. While children often think of Christmas as a time for getting presents, it can be seen very different by parents. Trying to ensure that children have a happy Christmas may mean anxiety on how to finance it. It's therefore not surprising that association has been found between the types of personalities and spending over the festive Christmas season. Specifically, more neurotic, open individuals were found to spend less during the holiday season. This was found when looking at spending as stated on over 2,000 people's bank transaction records. Okay, what are you guys thinking about this so far? In terms of giving and I think the holiday cards, that's actually interesting, and it kind of does make sense.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like I'd say I'm more, people who go. I mean, I do not have the money to send out Christmas cards at the moment, but the people who would send me Christmas cards are the types of people who I would send Christmas cards to, because like I know that's like a thing. I know that's what they do.
I think that I just think that the correlation is interesting between that and people who are feeling depressed. Is they're much less likely to send a card because like the lack of motivation and everything. And so it's just something I've never really thought of or considered, but like psychologically that makes sense. But something I didn't expect is when it said that more neurotic and open individuals are found to spend less during the holiday season. I would think like somebody who's like more neurotic would like be more stressed and would therefore probably end up overbuying or worrying about what to send somebody as opposed to like not get something at all.
I don't know which way to weigh on this. I mean, frankly, I think they're probably comparing it to more introverted persons, which tend to not be as expressive with their let's just say feelings. Like I give out my love for other people, frankly, through actions and deeds, and sometimes purchasing gifts. I'm not very good at actually showing it, so I can see their point of probably saying like why more open individuals, they think that they already exude that their joy of being with other people already, so the kind of gift giving would be secondary for them. They don't need to compensate for it because of their personality with gifts.
Okay. So yeah, we have purchasing gifts. Women have been found to start their Christmas shopping earlier, buy more gifts, and engage in a higher number of shopping trips than men. Differences in shopping behaviors can also be noted when it comes to children, as mothers are likely to spend more money on daughters and fathers on their sons. Therefore, one way to reduce spending on Christmas could be by agreeing for a dad to shop for his daughter and a mom to shop for her son. That's actually not a bad idea. But yeah.
I think it's more like knowing how to shop, because like it's like for the individual sex. So of course the father is going to know like what a young boy most of the time will want. Of course, sometimes there might be a generational disconnect on certain things, but generally speaking, um, I can see why it'd be easier for a father to shop for his son than vice versa.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna be on. We're gonna go to the 140 mark, so we have like another 9 minutes or stuff. But I don't know. I thought we'd kind of like wrap up the stream. I don't know. Just kind of go back to
We
kind of
didn't
end
do
it in the
favorite
same
Christmas
way that
music.
end it in the same way that we began it. Instead of talking about forgotten sort of Christmas traditions we have. Our favorite Christmas tradition that is ongoing and that has always been a staple of our lives. It continues to be to this day, starting with Kilhoun. Something our families might do or whatever.
Well, wasn't that what we already did at the
No, so we
very
talked about
beginning?
ones from our childhood that like are kind of like lost, like that we haven't done in a while.
I mean, modern traditions, I guess. The only consistent tradition would be going to midnight mass on Christmas Eve. That'd be the only one I could kind of think of that's been consistent for the last decade.
Okay. What about you, Maria?
One that's been consistent, except when my sister was a teensy tiny little baby and thus impossible to travel with, and during COVID, one that's been consistent has been my grandpa writes a letter as Santa Claus.
So is that still something that goes on?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had
Oh,
to say it a little. I had to say it a little quietly because I have young cousins who still.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. Your visit. Yeah. No, but that's really cute. Like that's totally something that like I do when I'm old. But what about you, American elitist?
So mine is really lame, but it's more of just like
There's no such thing as a lame Christmas tradition.
we usually watch a movie together as a family. Although it's been kind of awkward since they got divorced a while, like a decade
I'm
ago.
sorry to hear
But we'll still usually watch a movie Christmas Eve with whoever I'm with during that year. So that tradition is usually carrying on.
that. Who has custody? Who has custody of you this year? American elitist.
Right now it's my mother, but that's only because like my dad lives in another state more
Yeah.
than anything.
All right, and David Wayne.
For us, I would say it's our Christmas carols. As a family, we will gather around whenever we have time, and we will sing from the family canon of Christmas carols. And I hope to uh, strengthen that tradition as well as expand it.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely, everybody. I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, there's just something about Christmas that I really like. It's really the mundane things, I would say. It really is those like small mundane things that make it great.
I like wrapping presents. I'm an
I do too.
artist,
I love
so
wrapping presents. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. It's definitely. I honestly I can't understand how somebody could not like this time of year. Like I understand there are those people, but I just don't understand how that can be.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that there's some people in my line of work that don't like Christmas because they're not in the continental United States, but for very
Oh,
particular
yeah.
reasons.
Well,
Especially if you're in like a non-Christmassy area like Syria or Kuwait.
oh well, that's fair. Well, you know what
yeah,
I mean.
that's
You know.
fair. That's fair.
That's fair. I mean, but I remember we were talking about. I did see a funny picture. I don't know where it is. I tried looking it up earlier, but it was the Saudi crown prince at a Christmas party when he was in California once, with like Dwayne Johnson.
The House of
But
Saud.
the House of Saud. Yeah.
And
But
Christmas Crusader says my Christmas tradition is watching Ulix Nol, which is that Christmas Truce movie. And It's a Wonderful
yeah.
Life.
And I started a new tradition. I read A Christmas Carol for the first time, and I watched the 19. Oh, nice. Good job. Does anyone else who is watching have any Christmas traditions that they would like to share? Go ahead and share because we're live. If anybody in the audience wants to share, type it right there and we'll read it off.
I mean, frankly, like I kind of want to. I guess I can't really do this right now, but when I do have my own family, I want to revive a lot of these old Bavarian traditions that my grandfather's generation enjoyed, that my father's generation tried to stuff away because they thought, oh, it's too un-American to practice these things, and that was literally the rationale that my father's generation gave, at least from what I've been told, why they didn't carry on the tradition of the Christ child and St. Nicholas's feast day and just try to assimilate into this broader American corporate identity.
Yeah. So now I'd say so. Before we end, let's just go around. Let's do final thoughts. Just what do the and I know this to sound the least cliched and contrived as possible. Basically, what do the holidays mean to you? What do you how do they make you feel? And what are your expectations for the rest of the holiday season? Starting with Kilhoon. You don't have to be. You can be as brief or not brief as possible. You can go on for as long as you want.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I don't know. I guess kind of like years ago, I kind of just decided that I wanted to focus on the aspect of Christ and Christ's birth and sacrifice, especially on the celebration of the Christ Mass that we are going into, which is the etymology of Christmas. And I just fundamentally prefer to engage in the spiritual instead of trying to get tied up in these temporal things of like gift giving and are we going to go see our family, or are we going, which I do like to go see family, but it's like I don't make it the focus. The focus should be on Christ, which that's the thing that is not especially a lot of the corporate entities wish we would be divorced from, that we wouldn't be focused on anything but consumerism, which that's kind of been what America's tried to do to Christmas, which I think is frankly an evil and a great loss in our tradition.
So thank you for sharing. But before we go on, Owen Zaleski says my parents cover the open living room door with wrapping paper, and my entire family, starting with the youngest, bursts through it while my dad films it. And for Diego, he says I travel to Mexico every Christmas to play Uno and play Uno with my family. Not just to play Uno with his family, but he plays Uno with his family there. I actually just played Uno with my family earlier today. We played by the rules incorrectly, which is why it took so long. We knew something was up. But either way, so he says, my family's in an economic crisis. I'm sorry to hear that. So that won't happen this year. Well, I hope it will be able to happen next year, and I hope everything with your family everything with your family gets sorted out and it goes well. You're in our thoughts and prayers. And he also says he did a white elephant with his coworkers this year. That's always fun. And then Owen again says we all do a Pollyanna amongst the kids, selecting a name to shop for. So, all right. Okay, so also okay, so like I said, what's your anticipation for this year going forward regarding the holidays? What are your thoughts on the holidays? How do they make you feel? Blah blah blah. What I asked Kilhoun, but now for Maria. So these are kind of like final thoughts.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I kind of forgot to mention, but I'm really excited about, and I feel like in its own way shows the real spirit of the holidays, is that every year my family puts money in a hat or a bowl. Everyone contributes, except for the babies, of course. And then we draw out a name. We all put our names in a bowl, and um, whoever's name gets picked out donates the money to a charity of their choice. And I think that, that really exemplifies what the spirit of the holidays is. I've always been taught it's about giving, not receiving. And I think that's a perfect way to look at it. I always focus on what I can give others rather than what I receive. Um, and yeah, I'm just kind of looking forward to that this year.
Yeah, that's very nice. Actually, I really like that.
Thank you.
And American Elitist.
So, Christmas has always kind of meant something spiritual for me because I was raised Christian and still am. And it's kind of a season of hope for me, especially after some recent unfortunate events that Jacob knows about that I went through. So, for me, it's a time of hope and great spiritual kind of healing and relaxation and joy, we'll say. But it's also just kind of like a kind of reflection for the year for me. And that's kind of how I view Christmas and the holidays in general. But I greatly enjoy the feeling of giving back to your parents and like those who helped you out on your journey in life to get here. And I think I'm more focusing on those more like metaphysical aspects of Christmas more and more as we go on. But that's kind of what Christmas means to me in general: time of hope and joy.
Thank you. And finally, David Wayne.
I guess for me, I'm sorry, my mind blank. Restate the question.
Is anybody else hearing him?
Hello,
No.
test.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's-
yeah.
Yes, there you are.
Could you restate the question?
No, just final thoughts. Like, what do the holidays mean to you? Blah blah blah. blah. That's sort of what I asked. Kilhoun.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, the holidays, they mean for me, it's twofold. On the one hand, on the physical realm, it's a moment to reconnect with family, to slow down, to unplug yourself from the speed of life and the realm of cyberspace and reconnect with the physical. But also to meditate upon the metaphysical, to contemplate the divine mystery that is, the incarnation itself. That the God of everything, humbled himself and came down, decided to be born, not as the son of a king, but rather as a humble child, in an animal's feeding trough.
So
That's what Christmas means for me.
that's nice. Well, does everybody have anything else to say? Channels to shill or Substacks or what have you?
Um, Yeah, well, I'll just start since we'll go in a circle. Subscribe to the Darth Kilhoun channel. I'm pretty irregular with content. And then also I have my Substack, the Dark Substack. I have a free chapter of my book series I'm working on. If you are interested in reading kind of alternate reality fiction. And I just hope that everyone has a very Merry Christmas and everyone actually remembers the true sacrifice Christ made in coming to and suffering in this world of sin.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Mario.
So sign my petition if you haven't already. It is to criminalize audio of child sexual abuse material, which I don't know why that's not already criminalized. And check out my channel, my documentary Beneath the Iceberg. It's on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where I'm known on all those platforms as either Beneath the Iceberg or BTIB official, BTIB official.
All right. I everybody watching and everyone listening, I demand that you go and sign that petition, or else you are complicit, essentially. Uh, but yeah, no. So, anything to show?
Yeah, just subscribe to my YouTube channel and please watch my content. I have a lot of great stuff out there that a lot of people didn't get to watch because I was smaller back then, but there's a lot of great stuff of back catalog on my channel. And I have a lot of great projects coming up that I think you are going to want to watch, so please subscribe to my channel, give it a shot, and watch some of my videos. That's all I really have to show. And Merry Christmas. And make sure you say Merry Christmas.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, because I know all of you Kwanzaa enjoy. There are a lot of you Kwanzaa enjoyers out there. Yeah, no, take it easy. It's been a good year. Thank you so much for coming on. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.